Hey everyone, welcome to the Starmine podcast. I'm David.
I'm Nick.
And I'm John, also go by Air1355 on GameFAQs.
And this is episode 1, I guess, of the Starmine podcast. So guys, what did you do for the past week? I know what John did, but Nick, how about you go first?
I've been playing nothing but Dark Souls 2, and I've actually been playing it so much that I got tired of it and went back to Demon Souls. That's what I've been doing.
Wow.
That is a lot of Dark Souls 2 if you want to go back to Demon Souls.
Yeah.
How do you go back to another game like that? Like if you're bored of Dark Souls 2,
I mean, I've put over 170 hours into it, and I was planning on replaying the original Demon Souls and Dark Souls anyway. I just jump-started it because I was starting to get bored of Dark Souls 2. That's all it really was.
I don't know, they're all the same game to me, so.
Really? Not to the people who are really big fans of it. They're nitpicking it and being like, oh, this thing's different.
Is Demon Souls harder or easier than Dark Souls 2?
After playing both Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, it's way easier. I beat Demon Souls after I beat the first Dark Souls, and I thought it was really hard at first, but then by the time I got to the end of it, it was really easy. I was like, this is really just super easy compared to what I was dealing with, Manus and Gwyn and Artorias. None of it compares. The only hard bosses are Flame Lurker, and that's it.
All of those names are completely foreign to me.
Yeah,
I know.
Same
you need
here.
to play those games.
Hey man, I got to the Tauros demon and I beat the Black Knight, and that's about it.
That's not even a boss.
Well, yeah, but he's hard. I mean,
He is hard.
I threw fire bombs at him.
You just gotta backstab him.
He's in a hallway. I ran from him a whole bunch and kept throwing fire bombs
You can
at
aggro
him.
him with an arrow and bring him up to the part where it's a little easier to backstab him.
Well, or I can just run away. I mean, that works too.
Yeah, run away. Why not? He only respawns once. Actually, no, he doesn't respawn at all. Never mind.
I was going to say, I think the word you're looking for is spawn, not respawn, but whatever.
That's just not a type of game I know I'll like.
Why not?
He's a little baby.
Yeah.
Oh, get good.
Or I'll just not get anything.
Oh, that's sad. What kind of games do you like, though?
Here it comes.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, I do find myself playing, in terms of actual real games, I'll play a lot of Metal Gear, Assassin's Creed, which I've just started playing Assassin's Creed 4. I bought it when it came out on the PS4 in November, and waited, 4 months before playing it. That thing's great. I also play a lot of sports and racing games.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I don't touch those, at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with the new console releases. Madden was pretty ruined by
Really?
the 360 and PS3 generation. They
Why
took
is that?
they took their original engine and kind of ruined it. Just completely stripped all the features out and started over from scratch on the new generation. So, who knows how terrible it'll be now, but I don't think I'll buy a Madden game for a long time.
That's not good
No.
to hear.
Well, you weren't the dumb Madden player either. You were more the, I'm going to buy it every other year guy, right?
There was a period of time on the PS2 that I would buy it every year. Then, I bought the first one on PS3 and it was stripped of all the features that I liked.
Yeah.
I'm not an online kind of game player, so I will do franchise and stuff like that. So whenever it came down to the new one, it was entirely stripped, didn't have any of the year-to-year features, so I stopped buying it every year. And now I'm probably not going to buy it again until something really crazy happens.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's EA.
And they have no competition.
Yeah.
Well, 2K's trying to fight them a little bit, but they're not really getting anywhere.
Well, I got $100 from that class action lawsuit. I said I told them how many I bought, and for every PS2 and Xbox era games, I got like $20.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to actually happen.
I don't know how much money I've been saving by not buying any sports games.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is wait a year, and then they're just like $5 used.
Yeah.
The only yearly game like I've remotely bought was like Battlefield. Like I don't really like look into games that have like a yearly release schedule. Like this one's coming out, and then like a year later you're expecting the next release. It just keeps coming, like Call of Duty. But like, I mean, I buy Battlefield because I really like the land and sea and air battles. I really like how they all come together, and those multiplayer matches are really good. But Battlefield 4 has just been a like glitchy mess, so I don't know if I'll be doing that anymore.
Yeah, I got Battlefield 4 on the PS4 and was on launch, so that was shit. Yeah, it kind of really soured me to the whole next generation of gaming.
Yeah, I agree. Like I have to slightly agree. Like I got that console like on launch day, and I was really excited to play, and there was just all sorts of problems. Like there's just rubber banding constantly. Even now, like I went back the other day and played a bit of it because the new expansion pack came out, and I heard about the sea monster or whatever. I don't know what actually is going on with that, but I put it in, and it's still laggy as hell.
Is it the new Call of Duty that has Mike Myers and the Predator in it?
Yeah, it's the Ghost that has the Predator in it.
Cool. I'd play that. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I wish I played Assassin's Creed 4 on that launch day instead of Battlefield 4 and Knack.
I wish Watch Dogs came out on launch day. That's because that's what it was supposed to do.
Well, hopefully it's better now.
I hope so.
If they delayed it because they haven't made it fun yet, then it's a good idea that they delayed it.
Yeah, I know when I saw that initial trailer, my first reaction was definitely, this could be amazing, or this could be the most boring, micromanaging bullshit I've ever played. You know,
I'm into micromanaging.
Well, yeah, of course you are, but 90% of the other people don't want to sit there and real time have to go through every single little thing in the environment, and it'll just be a stupid like trap puzzler.
Yeah, I'm still kind of unsure about it. I saw the trailer today for the multiplayer. It looks really cool. It could be really promising if it actually works. Like you're hacking your friend, and he doesn't know where you are, and you're like just messing with him this entire time. And when he finally catches you, you start chasing him and like trying to track him down, lure the cops after him. Like it would be really cool if like that's actually how it works. But just knowing how games are released today, you don't know if that's actually how it's going to be.
I have a feeling it's going to be a bit like the BioShock Infinite trailer, where like,
oh man, don't remind me about that.
where they show you an awesome game, and just the game development process just changes it. They're not lying to you on purpose. That's probably what the game was at the time, but just as time has gone on, things change.
Same thing happened with Dark Souls 2.
Same thing happens with every single Peter Molyneux game ever.
He's gonna be a real boy.
So
Peter Molyneux.
The other thing John and I did quite recently was we went to PAX East.
Tell me about that. I didn't go anywhere.
I did invite you, but unfortunately
I know, but
you can't take vacation days. So
yeah.
Wow.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, we could have had our first podcast from PAX East. Oh.
Just in the middle of a line?
Just in the middle of the Cards Against Humanity line.
All right.
Single tier. Right here.
But yeah, we saw some cool panels and stuff. The Cards Against Humanity panel was really fun, except for the line was interesting. Some girl almost got trampled getting into the line.
Yeah, that it was real bad management.
Yeah, they did not do a great job with that. They just kind of let everyone rush in at the same time. So there were basically 3 fronts of a battle that then condensed into a very, very small area that then turned into a sweaty, gross mess in the, 2 hours we stood there?
Yeah, I think we waited about a half hour before we got into the real line, and it was about an hour and a half in the line.
So it was like Black Friday, but with sweaty nerds.
Black Friday, you have more breathing room.
Yeah. But of course, also more people die on Black Friday. Luckily, only the one girl fell over, and it was so cramped that she wasn't able to fall over the entire way to get trampled.
Did anyone laugh?
Not in the beginning. No,
we were all just kind of like, "Holy shit, what's going on right now? Someone should probably help that girl up."
They wouldn't let us move out. They wouldn't let us move out of the taped off area. Like, we could have maybe gone an extra foot in either direction. Would have been great.
Yeah, it was a bad move.
So what else happened? After you experienced that traumatic experience?
Well, actually, that was Friday night. But we that was the Cards Against Humanity panel. It was pretty cool. They took card suggestions, and then overnight they printed out the top 10 card suggestions they got, and we got a free pack the next day. That was really interesting.
Yeah, you're able to watch that on Twitch. They have it recorded there. We actually show up right behind someone asking a question at one point.
Oh, cool. I
did
not know that.
Yeah, I showed it to someone here, and it's good fun.
Cool. And then we saw some other smaller panels. 3 old guys play roguelikes. I do not know who any of those 3 guys were. The one was from Xbox.
And he was also at the Cards Against Humanity panel too.
Yeah, I saw him. And then the consultant guy, he was also at the Giant Bomb panel. He was the guy in the luchador mask.
Yeah, I'm looking up his name right now.
But it was really cool. They talked about kind of the re-emergent genre that's come out with procedurally generated dungeons and permadeath and all that kind of thing. And then we also saw a panel. It was developers talking about their first foray into game design. It was just a bunch of indie people. Zoe Quinn was there. Some other people I didn't recognize. But it was really cool. It was definitely a bit educational since I have aspirations of game design. Just them talking about the best way to go about making a game, and the one lesson that I wanted to teach you is that the scope for your game is too fucking big. Just right away. It doesn't matter what your game is right now. Your first game, the scope is way too fucking big.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a direct quote.
Yeah. He said, "Come up to us after the panel, explain your game to us, and we will tell you that the scope is too fucking big."
Yeah. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah. But then we saw the Giant Bomb panel, and John, that was more your bag. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, it started off pretty crazy. Wasn't as crazy as it was last year. There was multiple interruptions last year, so this time it was more of it was closer to what the actual Giant Bomb podcast would be, plus a few jokes here and there. I don't think David or my brother, who was with me on that, really understood much of it. They were really leaning hard on the inside jokes. But the end was kind of weird. They kind of went from asking a question that seemed, I don't think it was planned, that question, but it tied right into Dave Lang coming up and getting into an argument with
Dave Lang, for those who don't know, is one of the lead guys on Iron Galaxy, the people who did Dive Kick and are now doing Killer Instinct. He's also kind of a crazy person and one of my favorite people in video games right now.
Yes, so he he ended up getting into some kind of an argument with Jeff Gershman, but it was all staged to promote their weird battle royale that was happening the next day.
Yeah, they had like a breakaway bottle that they smashed over Dave Lang's head, and
Oh my.
and like someone ran out. As I said, the guy ran out in the luchador mask, and you know there was they were like talking each other up on or talking each other down on the mics, and you know just yelling at each other, Stone Cold Steve Austin style. It was great.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was hoping for more crazy.
Yeah, you talked it up quite a bit, and I was expecting some weird shit to go on. I mean, you said the year before there was like bagpipes and
Yeah. Harmonix did a good job of crashing that podcast pretty hard. Like in the middle of the introductions, just bagpipes came out with one of the Harmonix guys kind of singing along, just making up some crazy lyrics to it.
That's pretty interesting.
Then it came out with like a mariachi band and then a marching band at one point, all throughout this whole hour and a half or 2 hour and a half long panel.
Wow. A whole marching band for a podcast.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. At one point, someone drank human breast milk, so I guess it really couldn't
escalated quickly.
Yeah, it really couldn't get any better than that, or worse, depending on how you look at it. So they kind of toned it down.
Is this the first year without Ryan Davis?
At PAX East, yes.
Okay.
At PAX Prime, he wasn't there for that, and they were going real crazy. They had like a twerking contest to win free stuff.
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
Twerking contest. That's pretty.
And the Harmonix guys threw out like $5,000 worth of Xbox points into the crowd. It was introduced with we don't care about our budget, and just threw it. It was good.
It's always nice when no one cares about their budget and they're willing to just give away whatever.
It seemed real negative on themselves though, like we shouldn't be doing this, but we're doing it.
Developer guilt, whatever.
What was that? What was the indie game that we checked out that we kind of knew the guy?
Let me look. I know it's Air something.
It's like Aerospace: The Fall of Gravity.
Airspace: The Fall of Gravity? Let me make sure. Airscape.
The Fall of Gravity. It was a cool little platformer. Some gravity changing mechanics. Ridiculous, cute little squid main character. It was a fun little game, though. Your brother knew the guy, right, John?
Yeah, he went to high school with him. He was a exchange student from Australia. Is that where he was from?
I believe, yeah, Australia. But yeah, we got to play the game for a little bit. We got through a few of the levels, and he gave us a free T-shirt. So that gets my vote.
Yeah,
but they got Steam greenlit. So if anyone's listening to this, check it out. It's a fun little game.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, do it. I think it's still in development at this point, though. I don't know if they have I don't know if they're like early access or whatever, but yeah, I mean they had some levels. John's terrible at platformers, so that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty terrible at platformers too. It's okay. I probably sympathize.
But yeah, other than that, there wasn't really many games we played. John's brother played the new version of Europa Universalis, which is a game that sounds way too complicated for anybody in a reasonable state of mind to play.
Oh yeah,
Just define reasonable state of mind.
Like it's like the political intrigue of Game of Thrones, like the entire 3 and a little bit of the series right now. Like that is 5 minutes of gameplay.
All right.
Yeah, it's just like a political simulator where you like take shit over and stuff. I don't know. It's been explained to me numerous times, and I still don't understand any little bit of it. So take that for what you will.
might be ignored.
Yeah. Oh, we also checked out Hyperlight Drifter. John, you weren't there for that. That's when I was with my friend Emily.
Okay.
But that looks like a fun little game. Really, really good. I hate to call it like retro style art. Like it's pixel art, but it's more than just pixel art. But it looks really good. It looks like it plays really well. I didn't get a chance to play it because there was a pretty big line for it. But it looked really good. That's a Kickstarter game. And then also, I think you were there for this one, John. We checked out Guns of Icarus online.
No, I don't think I was.
That's when we were. I thought that's when we were walking around the indie area. I think you and your brother were there. I think, yeah, your brother and I sat there and talked to the rep for the company, and he talked the game up. We asked about where the game was headed, and I actually just bought it the other day. I think you and me and your brother are going to play. It's just a little four-person squad-based thing where you're on a Zeppelin and you like fire guns, and you have like flak cannons and Gatling cannons, and someone's the captain, someone's the engineer, then there's some gunners and so on and so forth.
I was actually playing Distance when you were doing that. I remember that now.
Oh yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's a racing game based. It's kind of like you're driving down a road and there's obstacles and it's kind of arcadey. There's periods where you'll be dodging lasers and walls that just pop up out of nowhere. There's some pretty cool effects where you'll go through like a portal and it'll just shoot you on a different road going in a different direction. Your car can jump.
I hate to make this comparison because it looks like it plays a lot better, but it's almost like those mobile runner games. It's a bit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, how much is, I mean, there's definitely boost and jump, so I don't know how much, because I haven't played too many runner games.
But yeah, it's that same sort of idea that you're like on a track, but there's like some flight sections, so that was really cool. I like the look of that. I like the art style too, really kind of like Tron looking.
Yeah, I thought the flight was a little slow after the sense of speed was very reduced when you're in the air.
Yeah, it definitely was some slowdown.
Maybe.
What was that one called, John?
Distance.
Distance, okay. Cool. Well, Nick sounds bored, so we should probably start talking about PAX.
No. I've been listening. I've actually been really interested in what you're saying. I'm sad I didn't get to check this out.
Yeah, maybe next year you can come with us. Shoutouts to Mike.
Yes.
What?
our buddy Mike from Florida/Boston, he was there with us.
He's a fellow GameFAQs mod.
Cool.
Met up with him last year before he was a mod.
And now he's a mod.
Yeah.
And we still harass him the same. It's great. All right, so I guess we'll move on into some news stuff. The first thing I'm going to bring up is something that Nick sent to me earlier. John, did you ever watch Samurai Jack?
Yes, I have.
They started a comic series, actually, that's supposed to leave off kind of after the finale of the show.
All right.
Yeah, I picked up the first 7 issues because that's all that are out right now, and it's based. One of the artists is one of the guys who has worked with them before, or has worked before on Samurai Jack. I guess he did some of the character designs, so everything's very, very true to the cartoon. The one thing that bothers me is there are a ton of outlines on the characters, and that was the one thing that made me go, come on, because that was like, that was Samurai Jack's art style, was like the no outlines, just, really, 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 kind of, it was very stylized at that point,
Did they really change the art style?
No, it's the same art style, it all looks the same, but there's like outlines, like Samurai Jack, was just kind of like a lot of white on dark, light on dark, comparison for, instead of straight drawn outlines. You know what I mean?
I know.
So I guess maybe it's just kind of how it works in comics that you can't do that very well. But I mean, it still looks really good. It's a pretty good read. I wish there was more at this point. I've already read through a few of them. I think I got to issue 4.
Nice.
And it's just going way too quickly. Like I only have 3 left, and I barely spent any time reading them today.
Does it really pick up off of like where the series left off?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say because the series just kind of left off. Like the last episode, Jack carries around a baby for a while, and then at the end, the baby has the heart of a warrior. Like it's a weird episode to leave off on, but
I remember that episode.
But it was just kind of like it's the continuing adventures of Samurai Jack, which I'm down for. Hopefully, Gendy will eventually make a movie to finish up the series, and that'll be real cool. He can finally beat that dude that has the portal back in time. I don't know if you remember that episode.
No, I don't.
They've already established how he's going to get back in time. He has to fight this dude to prove himself a warrior, a good enough warrior to go back in time. And at the end and he gets the shit beaten out of him. And at the end of the episode, after he leaves, the guy's like, "This will not be your," he looks into the future and sees Jack with a bitchin' beard and all battle scarred and shit. Nice. And he's like, I'll wait until I face you again. It's really cool. It's
I must have missed that one. I need to check that one out.
Well, I own all 4 seasons, so if you ever need them,
I think it's on Netflix actually.
Really?
Yeah, really. And I would really like to see Gendy actually wrap it up with a movie. I think Samurai Jack deserves a movie.
Definitely. But speaking of bringing things back, I don't remember if it was Mike or Joel, but there have been hints at MST3K coming back.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I heard about this.
Yep. So that's exciting. I'm a big fan of MST3K. John, do you even have you ever watched MST3K?
I have not actually. There's so many things that I have never seen that I should have.
Yeah, I mean, you can find them all over YouTube and stuff. So just pop one. There. I'll send you a link later for some good ones. You can find them. Don't pirate, kids.
It hurts the economy.
Yeah, but it's a really good show. I don't know. You know me. I love bad B movies, and then it's just 3 really funny guys talking over top of them and making fun of them in a way that you wish you always could.
Yeah. Well, they've done riff tracks for a couple of years now.
Yeah, they've been doing riff tracks, and then Joel. That's Mike Nelson, and I forget who's with him, but Joel and some of the other people are doing Cinematic Titanic, which is sort of the same sort of thing, but I think it's live.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They've both been back at it, but I guess they're talking about bringing it back entirely, at least for a little bit.
Well, that'll be good. That'll kind of revive the improv scene, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's not enough improv these days.
Yeah, maybe Drew Carey will quit doing the Price is Right and come back and do Who's Line.
Oh my god, if Who's Line came back, that would be the best.
It kind of did.
With Ryan Stock. Well, it kind of did, but I mean in a big way. In a way that it's like, hey...
They have...
Who's Line's back?
They had new episodes with, I forget what's her name. She does a voice in Archer.
Oh, yeah. I don't know her name. I'm sorry. I'm not
the younger chick or
all time.
She also hosted the Ubisoft E3
Aisha Tyler.
Yeah, she's hosting a new Who's Line. I watched an episode or 2 and then I quit because they force guest stars into it.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's gross.
Who are really really bad at improv.
That's what I'm talking about. You can't do that.
That sucks because Aisha Tyler is actually really, really funny and really cool. Like, I remember she was getting hassled like probably a few years ago about like being a fake gamer girl or whatever, and like she's like a badass gamer girl. Like, she's awesome. She like
gamer girl opposed to what?
Yeah.
To be fair, I do not like the phrase "girlwood."
What's girlwood?
She said that at the E3 2 years in a row now.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
She would say she's so excited she has girlwood.
Well, I mean, she's a part of Archer, so she's probably got a slightly weird sense of twisted humor from that. So
I think she was
weird
wearing
dick jokes.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she wore a shirt with hashtag girlwood for the second year she hosted that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's E3, so
you can do anything at E3, and people will make fun of you for it.
I was going to say, at E3, Nintendo chains DSs to attractive women, so I don't know how they get away with that. That seems kind of weird to me. You ever heard about that, Nick?
No.
Yeah, they like chain their 3DSs to attractive women so that presumably you can't run off with them.
Well, if you just pick up the girl...
I'm just like staring off into space right now trying to visualize that.
I don't imagine they're like literally chained, but they like tether them to booth babes pretty much.
Like to their belts or something.
Who, of course, have no idea usually at least, have no idea except for a few talking points about the game. I know that's what happened at PAX last year. The one chick from Nintendo had no idea what I was talking about. Neither did the chick from Capcom, but at least she gave me that 25th anniversary Mega Man pin, so that was good enough for me.
You can press the button and he jumps.
Jump and shoot!
Jump and shoot, man!
Jump and shoot, man! What were the two news things you had, Nick?
Well, Marty O'Donnell, the composer for Halo and now Destiny, has been fired from Bungie. I'm like in disbelief over this. I can't possibly like fathom why on earth this happened. He is easily, he's so good. Why would you ever fire him? What could possibly happen that was so bad that he got fired from Bungie?
So no one's talking about exactly what happened?
No. The official word is just like, well, we're going to miss him and wish him best on his next endeavors. It's like stuff like, the basic PR stuff is basically what was said. But there wasn't anything, the official reason hasn't been said. There's no official reason. And I just can't imagine why on earth he would be fired.
I think the biggest scumbag part of this story is that they are still using his music for Destiny.
Yeah. Like, I remember Paul McCartney was, like, brought along to collaborate with Marty. I have no idea why on earth this happened. But, like, I haven't heard anything about what Paul McCartney didn't make a comment, and Bungie made their, like, bullshit PR comment, and Marty just made a tweet that was just like, I got fired. So that's all that we know.
That's weird.
It is really weird.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everyone knows the music from Halo. It's so iconic. And if you watch the Destiny trailers, if you heard the music in it, you were like, that's the guy who did Halo. You can hear it in the background. That's the dude that did the Halo music. He's really good. Why is this happening?
I wonder how much is done on the music. If maybe they finished recording and, scoring everything, and they're like, okay, now you're gone. We don't want to pay you anymore.
But why? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe John may have a point. Maybe he was asking for too much money because, he did Halo and all that shit. He could probably pull in some good money, and maybe they just didn't want to keep him on anymore because he was pulling too much money.
Well, if that's the case, he can go anywhere. Because it's like, there's probably people, like, contacting him right now who are like, hey, you want to work for us? Because we'll pay you double of whatever they were going to pay you. Because you're fucking Marty O'Donnell.
And who was the guy from Naughty Dog that left as well?
Nate Wells, I think his name is. He left just out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on with Naughty Dog. Because Christina Norman left. Now Nate Wells, he was the creative director of The Last of Us. He left.
Wow.
Yeah. Just something's weird's going on with Naughty Dog.
Like maybe they're going back to Crash Bandicoot and everyone's just pissed.
Why would everyone get pissed about Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot's awesome.
We're talking they went from like serious drama games, they went from like modern Indiana Jones to serious drama games, and now back to let's try to make a mascot for the PS1.
If that's the case, then I mean that's just up to the actual workers themselves.
I don't know her name, but you said the first lady who left from Naughty Dog.
Christina Norman.
I heard that she left to work on like a Star Wars
game. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm not upset about this piece of news at all, actually, because if it's anything like they're working on the next Jedi Knight game or something, I'm gonna cream my pants and I'm just gonna be satisfied.
From what I heard of that, it's supposed to be. It's not like based on the new movies or anything. It's entirely its own storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what makes me think it might be a Jedi Knight game.
So it sounds like she
really
might have left because that is a series she's a huge fan of, and she gets to work actual creative aspects on it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you know her like body of work, like the Uncharted series, just imagine Uncharted but with Star Wars, and that's what we're gonna get probably.
The Boba Fett game is finally going to come out.
Oh man, if it's that.
Yeah, maybe they pulled it just because they're reworking it to make it amazing.
That might be the case actually, and if that's so, then they made a very good decision.
All right, so the last big news story that I was waiting on. A documentary team is going to dig up a landfill in the New Mexican desert. Do either of you know why?
No.
Yes, I do.
Hold your horses then, John.
All right.
What do you know about Atari's E.T., Nick?
I know that it's the worst game ever made.
You do. You recall correctly. Do you know the legend about the 14 trucks of cartridges and other gaming equipment that was buried in New Mexico whenever Atari started having some huge problems?
I have no recollection of this.
Huge problems such as making more games than there were consoles.
Yeah, there is that problem.
I don't think I was alive at this point.
Well, it was in 1982, but the 5 million ET cartridges that were produced, only 1.5 million were sold, and presumably a bunch were returned because that game is near unplayable.
Unplayable?
The legend goes that they dumped all of them in a New Mexican landfill, and apparently this Saturday, April 26th, these documentary filmmakers plan to go into this New Mexican landfill, dig it up, and try to find the burial site.
Why?
Because it
Why
would be
not?
the greatest find ever.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, this is one of gaming's big urban legends, though. I mean, I've heard everything from like corporate secrets being buried there to like bodies being buried there to like a hidden vault with locked away, like burned ET cartridges in the desert, like everything. I've heard everything about this. And I know I'm at least curious to see what is actually there,
Maybe they'll actually find E.T. there.
Well, he did fall into a hole a bunch of times, so.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. That's all I remember about playing that game was I got past the first screen, fell into a hole, and then was not able to get out of it. After
Never
about
played it.
5 minutes of trying, I just said screw it, and I was done.
Why would you even subject yourself to playing it?
You have to at least once.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard about this and I got super excited, and I know I will be watching this because I guess it's going to come out. What did they say? It was the documentary is being developed with Xbox Entertainment Studios and Lightbox, so presumably we'll be able to see it somewhere in the near future. So I will be there to watch their dig, and I really hope that they find something, just because that would be awesome.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa.
They find Jimmy Hoffa and the Holy Grail and
But
3.5 million ET cartridges. All still perfectly playable. Just gotta blow on them a little bit.
That's bad for him.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier than getting like rubbing alcohol in a Q-tip.
I do have also kind of another bit of news that I read about recently.
Go ahead.
Did either of you hear about the new Call of Duty Ghosts narration pack?
No.
No.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh God.
Oh, shizzle.
Oh man.
You guys need to watch the video where they announce that.
I'm going to have to now. I'm going to have to look it up.
I don't know if that's either like the best idea they ever had or like the worst idea they ever had.
It sounds terrible, but in all the wrong, but yet same right ways. Like you want to buy it and listen to it in the same way that you kind of watch a train wreck.
Well, what is it? Does it add anything other than just Snoop Dogg's voice?
No.
Oh, I think it might be worth it then.
Is this like a trend they're gonna start doing? Like, what narration is this? Is this like the narration for the game, for the multiplayer like maps? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like the multiplayer maps, like when you get like your perks, just Snoop Dogg comes out and goes Izzle a bunch of times.
So like, I really hope this becomes a trend. Like I'm not a huge fan of useless DLC, but if I can get Morgan Freeman or like
oh man,
Andrew WK to narrate my video games, that'd be awesome. Just Andrew WK yelling at me about something, I get super hype about that.
That'd be great.
You died again.
But it really just smells like they offered Snoop Dogg money and he was like, "Sure, what do I do?"
Yeah, what's Snoop Dogg doing these days anyway, other than just small gigs like that?
They probably
Seriously.
this does sound like a pure marketing thing. Like someone was like, "We could probably make about this much money on doing this thing if we sell it for this price. Let's ask Snoop Dogg if he'll do it for this amount of money," and then that's what happened.
And then we'll make a profit somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
The video's great. You have to watch it.
I have to.
Yeah, definitely have to watch that after we're done with this. All right, we want to move on to the discussion topic.
What's the discussion topic?
The discussion topic is the pros and cons of both indie gaming and AAA gaming.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I'll have to start with a pro of indie gaming, and that's that there's no deadline, and they can make whatever they want at the deadline that they want to make. How about that?
That is quite a pro. The con to that, of course, is that it can just drop into development hell, and it'll just be under development for 5 years, drop off the map, and then never exist.
I really hope that doesn't happen with No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky looks like the perfect game for me.
It does look really, really good.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
There's only been one trailer, though, and it was a VGA or whatever that they announced it. Of all the places, it was VGX this year. It was really weird. It wasn't even broadcasted on television.
I didn't watch
And-
that.
Yeah,
There's a good reason you
there's a good reason you didn't watch it, because it was the most awful thing I've ever seen in my life.
I watched a few clips of Joe McHale hosting, and he hates himself for being there. It's great.
Yeah, he really just kind of shit on the show itself. He was self-loathing the entire time.
That sounds perfect.
Oh, it was great.
It was, but No Man's Sky, I haven't heard anything about it since then, so I really hope that it doesn't just drop off and just turn into this thing that was like, hey, it was here and now it's not.
I think, was that the studio that had they've got flooded out?
Yeah, Hello Games, I think is... Yeah, Hello Games, and I guess they're okay now? I don't know, I haven't researched to see if they're fine. I just kind of, heard about that and then just forgot about it afterwards.
Like, I remember that happened, a few weeks after they announced the game. I don't know much about it after that.
Yeah, I don't even know if they lost any of the game itself or anything, but...
I would hope they'd have some sort of backup system
Yeah,
in place.
I would hope so.
Well, that's one of the cons of indie gaming. No big infrastructure to hold on to extra files.
All right. Well, how about a pro of AAA gaming? Do you have any of that?
Well, I mean, besides distribution and marketing, and that's definitely that's questionable pros. I would say budget. Having the money to do anything you want. I mean, granted, that doesn't always work out as a pro, but where it has worked out, say what you will about the new Battlefield and Call of Duty, they do look pretty. And gray, but pretty.
Yeah. And budget can get, like Elder Scrolls Online, you can get Dumbledore to voice your character.
That too. I mean, you can the extra budget and the clout of being a part of EA. I mean, if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, EA wants you to work for them," or someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, Don't Nod Games wants you to work for them," you go with EA, especially since Don't Nod doesn't exist anymore.
Who's Don't Nod?
I'm pretty sure it's Don't Nod. I believe that's what they were called. It's the people who did Remember Me?
Oh, yeah, those guys.
That mediocre space platformer that probably wouldn't have been bad. It's kind of sad that they're gone, because I feel like they could have made an okay second game, but, whatever.
It looked cool because it was like a cyberpunk adventure, but I heard it was just terrible. And
I heard it was garbage, yeah.
I got a pro for AAA gaming is that they're really what moves consoles in the beginning of a new console launch. People aren't going to go buy a PS4 to play Octodad.
Yeah.
And it's a damn shame.
I know. I heard Octodad is awesome.
Yeah, I saw videos of that. I want to play that, but I don't want to buy it.
I'll wait till it's free on PlayStation Plus.
That'll eventually happen, yeah. They'll get the money out of that, so. But,
yeah.
Yeah, definitely that. A pro of indie gaming is that it's starting to kind of fill the void left by all the kind of middle developers losing and going out of business.
Thanks to Capcom, usually.
Yeah.
Damn it, Capcom.
Yeah, like any of the only middle ground developer, I would say is probably From Software right now, and that's just because
From Software.
That's just because they've hit a pretty good streak with their Dark Souls games. I mean, they had been holding on for years with whatchamacallit, Armored Core, but that's definitely a niche game. I mean, Capcom keeps hiring out the middle ground developers, and then they die shortly afterwards because of the Clover Curse.
Capcom is even slightly copying From Software now. I mean, have you seen Deep Down? It pretty much looks like Dark Souls.
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, Deep Down, it looks like Dark Souls, except next gen. It's like a dungeon crawler, you're fighting dragons and stuff. It's Dark Souls.
I heard that game also has some current day stuff in it as well, like almost like an Animus.
Kind of like Assassin's Creed, where it's like it breaches modern stuff and like alternate reality, and you dive down. But it's like a free-to-play game. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how it turns out. It might be really good. It might be really shit. You don't know.
I also don't believe it's going to look anything like the announcement trailer.
Don't ever believe what it looks like. When you see it, you're like, oh, that's awesome looking. Don't ever believe what you see.
I would say, Platinum is another middle ground developer that's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of Wii U stuff lately, which is questionable business choices. But
is it questionable?
Yeah.
Unless they're being paid.
How many people bought Wonderful 101? You know, but they have
alienated 90% of our possible audience. Thanks, Dave. I'm just kidding.
But they did Revengeance recently. They're coming up with a new Xbox title. I don't know if it's been named yet.
No.
So that's exciting. And when the Wii U does, eventually die, maybe they'll port Bayonetta 2 over to the, PS4 and Xbone, and then we'll be able to actually play it.
You really think the Wii U is gonna just die out, and Nintendo is just gonna
perish? I think Nintendo realizes they're on a sinking ship, and they're doing everything they can to extend it, but I think they're also going to see that in a few years it might be worth just getting off the boat and trying again.
Yeah, I could see them kind of releasing all the games in work right now for the Wii U. Maybe a Zelda game, Super Smash Brothers and the Mario Kart, and then just releasing a new console that's a little closer to the PS4 and Xbox One.
Everyone thinks that Super Smash Brothers is just gonna win over everyone for the Wii U, and I don't think so, because it's also coming out for the 3DS, which a lot of people have. Most people are just gonna get it for the 3DS.
I mean, depending on price, I might get a Wii U for Super Smash, but I don't know. I bought a Wii, and I own one game for it, which is the game it came with.
Now, see, I my girlfriend has a Wii, and I bought her the Donkey Kong game, and we played that a little bit, and that was pretty fun. Was it Brawl's on there?
Mm-hmm.
Smash Bros. Brawl, and Brawl's fun.
Yeah.
We played Brawl at your graduation party, John, and Nathan killed all of us, but
Yeah.
No, actually, no, I beat him that one time because I'm a troll Peach player. Do you remember that?
I don't remember who won anything. I remember playing it, but I don't remember who won. I didn't really care.
I have the most asshole strategy for Peach, which is I use her levitation, and then I use her umbrella to stay out of the fray as much as possible until everyone runs out of lives, and then I win because I'm not even that good, but I just have that many more lives than everyone else.
Hey, it's a strategy.
Yeah. Another pro for indie games: experimental art styles.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would say that pixel art has been done to hell at this point, but there's still some out there that still impress me, like, as I said earlier, Hyper Light Drifter looks really good.
And as I was going to say, I didn't really like the game itself, but the art style enough, Contrast. It was just like a free game on PlayStation Plus on PS4. I played a bit of it. I was just like, the art style is really cool in this game, and I didn't know it was an indie at first because of how effective it was. Yeah. It wasn't pixel art or anything. It was just a solid art style that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, and then Banner Saga. I don't know if either of you have played Banner Saga.
No.
It looks like a Disney movie. Because they basically, from what I understand, they filmed the scenes and then rotoscoped over top of them to make people. So it just looks like a Disney movie.
That's awesome.
and it's really fun. I would recommend it. It's like Oregon Trail meets a turn-based fighter.
What?
Meets I don't know, something else in there. it's really cool. Meets Disney movies, as I said. It's really cool. I haven't played enough of it, unfortunately, but it's got a really interesting story. It creates its own world pretty quickly and sticks to it, and it looks really, really good. You know, like the in game. You know, because the main portion of the game, you're just traveling from one place to another, and you just see all these little figures walking along this path, and it's called Banner Saga because like the saga of the people is written on like the banner that they have. So as time goes on, the banner gets bigger and bigger. So there's just this ridiculously huge banner like waving in the breeze with just like this army following it. It's really, really cool visually, and then like the art style doesn't change between like the turn-based fighting or the like the in-game like conversation stuff. And then also there's a game. It was a Kickstarter that I backed, Night in the Woods. I know I sent it to you, Nick, but that was a while ago. I don't know if you remember it.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
It's got a really cool art style. I like the guy who did it. He did a music video for Streetlight Manifesto. He's done some other animations and stuff like that, and he has a really, really cool art style. I think you'd appreciate it, Nick, being the art person you are.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Did you ever see that Streetlight music video, John? It's the animated one where the guy's walking around with a camera.
I have not.
It's a really cool video. I would recommend going to watch it. But the guy's from Pittsburgh, which is another reason I backed it, and I was super excited about that. I like supporting local guys.
Oh yeah,
if I can. But yeah, Night in the Woods looks like an awesome. It's like a platform narrative. I think it might have some beat 'em up stuff to it. I don't know. There's not too much out about the game right now. It's still in development. I've seen a few. They've put out a few videos. I think they were GDC. But yeah, that one looks really good. But yeah, definitely, experimental art styles is definitely a pro. Because I've loved experimental art styles ever since Okami. So.
Negative about indie games?
How about negative about AAA? The bloat. and on the same path as that, negative about indie games, shovelware.
Yeah. There's way too much of it.
And the early access garbage that comes out.
Too many games
Rust
are doing
is
that.
The best game ever.
What is?
Rust.
Rust.
Yeah,
the penis survival simulator.
I think that's a game where early access makes sense.
Why?
Early access makes sense if you come in a few months when they actually have the game working and the main gameplay stuff down. Early access is fine to give people a beta, to give people even like an alpha, but people are putting up pre-alpha builds that barely work and calling it early access and expecting you to pay $20. That's just
20 is a little generous. They're expecting you to like pay like $30-$40 for it.
Like, I know the two early access games I have on my Steam are Space Engineers, because someone sold it to me as Minecraft in space where you get to blow up asteroids, and I was done. You know, that's all I cared about at that point. That sounded awesome, and it was relatively cheap. I think it was only $15. And also Hawken, which we played at PAX last year, and that was free to play. So those are really the only two early access games I've looked at that I've wanted, just because they're Space Engineers was pretty incomplete when I first got it, but it was at least playable. You could at least still explore, and that was still fun. It was definitely has kind of a development cycle like Minecraft did, where at first it's just kind of basic gameplay stuff that's at least solid and there, and then the more core gameplay mechanics get built out and systems get built out as time goes on.
Yeah, Minecraft's the only early access game I've played actually, and that actually worked out well, I think.
Who started
Look how successful Minecraft is now.
Yeah.
Well, every early access is trying to emulate Minecraft and how they did that.
Yeah, but lightning can't strike twice, you know? It can't be like, oh, it worked for Minecraft, so therefore it must work for my shitty indie game.
Speaking of lightning striking twice, a con for AAA games is bad marketing advice.
Yeah.
And if either of you got that reference, I'm happy. The new Lightning Returns game, which is garbage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lightning striking twice. It was a bad pun. I'm sorry.
But didn't they make 3 of those games?
Did they? I don't even care anymore.
I think they made a third one just recently.
I just remember, Nick, you a few years ago trying to justify how Hallway Simulator 2K12 was worth playing.
Okay, I liked Final Fantasy 13, alright? Shoot me, okay? I liked it, but I didn't think it was, like, great or anything. I was just like, it was decent. But it wasn't a good Final Fantasy game. It was a good JRPG somewhat, alright? That's basically my consensus right now.
Alright.
I don't know what I said back then. It was probably way different.
Yeah. Can we really consider... Well, I guess Final Fantasy... we can consider a AAA game, but JRPGs definitely are not AAA by definition.
No.
By budget, they are.
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, there's definitely some really, really weird ones out there. Like, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, like, last generation, there was a lot of weird JRPGs that just came out and they were just, like little girls in armor fighting monsters. And apparently some of them were pretty good, but that's not me, you know?
You're not a fan of the art style of let's draw this like a 12-year-old girl and then in the lore say she's 100?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you got games like Threads of Fate, which is fantastic, but in that art style, you know, and that was PS1 era, but I mean, that game was awesome, you know? I guess maybe it was made for a more American audience or something. I don't know. I don't know much about the JRPG market, but you know, they have some lastability. I know I've bought my fair share of JRPGs. I have Final Fantasy VII on Steam. That's my claim to fame, I guess.
I heard Ni no Kuni was really good. Have you guys heard about that one?
I've heard of it, and I've seen it in stores, I think. I've heard Bravely Default is really, 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 really good.
I've heard both of those games are pretty good. I heard Ni no Kuni was localized really well. Like, they changed one character that would have not made any sense. Made it work really well in American audiences, where it was kind of more of a Japanese in-joke.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that kind of localization takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It does. You can see it in anime when they try to translate it. It's just like...
Normally there's not much.
My problem with JRPGs right now is I just don't have enough time to play games, and, you know, it'll take me a month and a half to sink, 20 hours into a game, some months, so that's definitely what's keeping me away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they usually aren't localized too well, in the sense that they get a little weird at times and very, very Japanese, but granted, that's where they come from, so it's not something I can really fault them for.
It's worse when they try to make it more Western.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I mean, I think the most recent Lightning Returns or whatever it's called, they went more of an action-y platformer way.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Well, what about Dark Souls? Dark Souls is technically a JRPG, is it not?
By broad definition, maybe, but I don't know. I would say it's teetering on the line between character action and like hack and slash.
It's not really hack and slash, I would say.
Well, I mean, you don't have many combos though. The
no
combat
combos at all.
The combat system is very, very precise, but is very, very simple.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say it's kind of hack and slash, but also has a lot of elements of character action, but it's not nearly as like hectic, fast paced as say like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta.
Yeah. It's still an RPG, though. I mean, somewhat.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
got
it has-
RPG elements, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a more in-depth stat system than a lot of things that were called RPGs. So
I don't really know what to call Dark Souls. I just know that it's amazing. That's all I But yeah, you were talking about Bravely Default. Dave, our mutual friend Brian played through that, and he really loved it. He hasn't been shutting up about it whenever I ask him about it.
well, maybe you should stop asking him about it then.
I heard that that's pretty much a Final Fantasy game, even to the point where
That's-
in Japan,
That's what he was-
I think that it's like Bravely Default, and then it's like FF.
He was saying, like, that's, like, Bravely Default is what Final Fantasy should be right now.
I've heard there's a lot of interesting like settings you can have for it, like different ways you can like share experience and stuff like that. At least
It's called Bravely Default Flying Fairy in Japan.
Really?
Yep.
well, I mean, to be fair, the
Weird.
cover art is basically like a
Flying fairy.
flying fairy. Yeah. I guess another pro for indie games would be like getting the dumb awesome games out there.
Dumb awesome?
Yeah, like games like EDF, Earth Defense Force.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's not technically indie, but it's definitely not AAA either. But just
Yeah.
like games so insane that you can't believe they've been put out. Like most of Platinum's work, like a game like God Hand.
Yeah,
Where-
God Hand.
I guess I would say the pro is the lack of a studio telling you can't do that. But I've definitely heard stories of big budget stuff saying we don't care, we're doing it anyways.
Yeah, like Obsidian's done that. But that...
For Bayonetta, I heard that Sega said Bayonetta's not allowed to have glasses, and the guy said no, she's having glasses, and then proceeded to put glasses on every single person in the game. Because
What are you gonna do about it, bro?
yeah, because they're not going to say no to him that late, I guess. Yeah, I guess another pro would be experimental gameplay, since we already said experimental art styles. But I would say that's both a pro and a con, because sometimes experimental gameplay is garbage, complete and utter garbage.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes Minecraft happens.
yeah, but no, that's not experimental gameplay. I mean, that's.
It was at the time.
But I mean, like ways of gameplay. Like the weird systems that make no sense at all, that someone came up with while on mescaline or something like that,
Can you give me an example? Like, I can't think of anything other than Minecraft right now.
I don't know, just like some of the weirder indie games out there that like I don't know, there's just granted they have it's just one of those things, they have the freedom to do it, so they're gonna try it.
Like Starbound?
I guess so. I don't know.
Haven't heard about Starbound?
I know a bit about Starbound
It's like, I guess it's like Terraria, but
in
in
space.
space.
Yeah. I don't know, I've never really gotten the appeal of Terraria. It looks like it's okay, but I don't know. Minecraft exists,
It's really way different than Minecraft, other than kind of just you get to build stuff sometimes. I'm not a huge fan of Terraria, but I'll play it here and there with other people sometimes.
It's not quite completely Minecraft because it's a completely different plane of viewing it, and that changes a lot. You wouldn't think it does, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to talk more about AAA, because we've only been talking about indie.
I know, we have been talking a lot about... you didn't... Let's go in... What's a pro of AAA? Are there any pros?
I already gave
Continuing big franchises. I don't know if that's a pro, though. I mean...
No, it's not.
Well, in some cases it is. I mean... Uncharted had 3 games, and that was, that was a pretty big. That was a
Second
AAA
game.
game.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
you enjoyed those quite a lot, Nick.
I did enjoy every single one of them. I'm not even ashamed to say I enjoyed 3 more than 2.
That has zero meaning to me, but they're
Well,
all
a lot of
sitting
people,
down there, and
well,
I've
a
been
lot of
meaning to
people
play
like.
them.
I'm in the
A lot
same
of
boat.
people
I
like 2.
finished 1, which I enjoyed up until about middle of the way through when it got paranormal, and then yet to play 2 or 3. But I own both of them.
I just loved how 3, it got to the point where, like, the first 2 had this, like, point at the end where it's like, oh, crap, shit's spooky, it's all paranormal and stuff. And, like, 3 got to that point where you think that's gonna happen, and then it's totally like, nope, just normal shit. Just, it's totally explainable through normal scientific means.
Well, 3 was the one with the Yetis, right?
No, that was 2.
That was 2. Okay, yeah, 2 was the one where it was all supernatural and weird.
3 was like, you got to the supernatural point, and now it's like, nope, just hallucinations.
Awesome.
Poisonous hallucinations, that's all it was.
Yeah. I guess I watched you play 2.
Yeah, you
3.
watched me play 2. I remember that. Yeah, I just liked how it turned around everything, and
I will say a pro of AAA gaming is solid classic core gameplay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to sit down and play Call of Duty online and mute everyone else and just have fun, playing a brainless shooter.
There's nothing wrong with... You know what? I agree. There's nothing wrong with just sitting down and playing something brainless like that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with sitting down and enjoying a game like Skyrim, even though it's like someone could just be like, oh, I don't like how it does that, or it's like, it's buggy there, or whatever. It's, it's enjoyable, you get immersed in it. It's okay to get immersed in these types of games. Like, there's a lot of elitism that I can't stand with, the criticisms of AAA games. It's like, you're not actually criticizing the game, you're criticizing what, like, other people think of the game.
Yeah. Are we considering things like Mortal Kombat to be AAA?
I think the most recent release of it, yeah, I would call that AAA.
All right, then I will say a pro of AAA gaming would be innovation within the current big engines. Because I know Ed Boon's brother got Unreal to work in 60 frames per second at 1080p when the Unreal Engine guys said that was impossible. And, just the stuff like that, like the stuff John Carmack did back in the day with Doom and, the big people that can pay the big guys to do big things, that's definitely a pro. I guess that goes sort of back to budget a little bit, but, the super groups that can form to make shitty games that innovate something really important.
Right.
And I guess within that too, supporting the current engines, so people like you and me can go use Unity when or Unreal when AAAs are also using Unreal and Unity and basically supporting them.
Basically like a big developer singularity where we're all using the same thing and we all understand it. Even though you're at different budget levels.
Yeah.
Isn't the new Oddworld remake of the first game being made entirely in Unity?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
I did not know they were remaking Oddworld.
Yeah, and it's going to be on PS4.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just bought the pack on Steam because I was super excited to see that.
Yeah, it's like remaking the entire game from scratch, so it's not just up-resed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not just, they remade the engine, they remade
well, I mean, the
textures and everything.
The Oddworld games are just kind of like the old Prince of Persia style platformers, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Aren't they?
I think so.
I don't know much about the games. I just know that was made in Unity.
Yeah.
I like how we keep talking about games we haven't played.
Well, yeah.
We're doing a podcast. We're allowed to do that.
Are we? I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I guess as I said earlier, Con, coming together to make a big dumb game that nobody likes but everyone buys anyways because it's the big dumb game.
Dumbo game.
Like Knack.
Knack. That's a great game.
Yeah.
What? Knack?
No,
You don't remember Knack?
Oh,
Dorito Man?
Knack! Oh, man. Yeah, no. I haven't played that. Thank God. I'm just like, I haven't heard any good things about it. It just kind of fell off the face of the earth after it came out.
Going back to innovation for a second for a pro within AAA gaming, I would say being able to pay and have the budget for crazy people like Kojima to do what he does.
Yeah.
Because I
Words that kill.
I guess you would call Metal Gear Solid AAA.
Oh, definitely.
Metal Gear Solid 5 is definitely AAA.
Yeah.
They built an entire game engine over the last 5 years for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Though the Fox engine looks great.
They have Kiefer Sutherland, who's like
Oh yeah, I guess that's
big
true.
name act. Yeah, it's a AAA game. It's easily a AAA game.
Okay.
He's in a weird position where Kojima has such a sway over things in Konami that he can probably get away with a lot more than most AAA developers.
And he will.
Well, I mean, it's like the second game ever to have sexual violence in the ESRB rating.
I think so.
So
Something like that.
what's the first?
I don't know. Maybe Rapeplay?
What? Was that actually ESRB tested?
I don't know. I'm not going to look it up.
think so.
I'm not going to
I'm
look.
looking it up right now.
I don't even. I'm not sure if they would even touch that.
Don't even look at it. Just this is adult only.
Well, let's see what GameSpot has to say. They called it rare. A rare,
Medium rare.
Doesn't look like it was.
Animamundi Dark Alchemist, a visual novel released for PC back in 2006.
Oh, there you go. I was gonna guess actually. I have no mouth and I must scream, but
I think that was before the ESRB.
okay.
But yeah, there's some fun stuff in that game.
Yeah, I'm just Kojima's gonna go crazy with Metal Gear Solid 5, so we'll see what happens.
It seems like you're going to actually go against child soldiers in some way, or
Oh,
just
definitely.
blood diamonds
thinks-
in some way.
Yeah, everyone thinks that there's some sort of ruse and whatever, and it's not Big Boss or whatever. But you know what I think? I think it's actually Big Boss, and this is going to be his turn to the dark side, and he's going to murder children, and it's going to upset everyone.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I'd love also that there's a game with implied and almost descriptive rape in the audio files. And most people are upset that the main mission is about an hour and a half long.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed Ground Zeroes.
Oh, I
Well,
did. I did too.
That's because no one's played it. Everyone hears, oh, it's a 2-hour main mission. I'm not spending $30 on that, and then they don't actually look to see if it's a worthwhile game to play.
That's pretty much it. If you haven't played it, then you're probably going to be complaining about it because you haven't played it. If you've actually played it, you're probably going to be like, it was pretty good because it's Metal Gear. I like Metal Gear. Hey.
This Metal Gear is going to be 20 hours of cutscene.
No. There was 10 minutes of cutscene total in Ground Zeroes.
Pretty.
It was so minimal compared to the other ones.
Yeah. It's also just a prologue, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. when I finished Ground Zeroes, the immediate thought I had was, damn it, why can't the Phantom Pain be out like right now? I want to play it so bad.
Yeah.
That's all it made me want to do.
I think
buy Phantom Pain.
I think I just have one more side mission to do. Does that then unlock the weird like bonus one?
Yeah, I still haven't unlocked the...
I think you have to get all the XOF patches.
Yeah, you have to get all the XOF patches, and then you unlock the Deja Vu one if you have PS4, and if you have an Xbox, it's the one with Raiden.
I hate that the Snatchers are only on one, and the Deja Vu is on the other. That hurts me.
It's so decisive, man. You're divided.
Well, I can't play Metal Gear Solid on anything but a PlayStation controller, so I know what I'm getting eventually, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. It just feels wrong to play Metal Gear Solid on anything but a PlayStation controller. I feel dirty.
I played the HD remakes on the 360 first for achievements. It was really weird, especially when in Metal Gear Solid 3 because there's no pressure-sensitive face buttons.
Oh yeah, I was actually wondering about that because I was like thinking about it after I finished the HD collection on PS3. I'm like, wait a minute, how would they do the pressure-sensitive buttons on Xbox? How does that work?
Not very well.
Did it work at all, or no?
They have a different system for it. Like it's been so long since I played it, I can't remember it. But I think you like let go of it for a second, then press it again, and it kind of gives you a delay, and that'll work as it's slowly releasing.
Oh, that just seems like it would be a pain in the ass to do. I would have thought that they would like kind of map the buttons like in Ground Zeroes, where you aim like left trigger and like R1 for the first person, and then shoot with the trigger. I would thought they would like map it out like that or something.
Or Ground Zeroes, the controls are pretty much right on from what they did with the Peace Walker.
Yeah.
So I mean, it feels like a sequel to Peace Walker, but it's real weird to see it in the kind of AAA full console release.
It is kind of jarring a bit
because it's based off of a handheld control scheme.
Yeah,
I know when I was playing MGS3 for the first time, I was using a PlayStation 1 DualShock. And the amount of times I cut dudes' throats by accident trying to interrogate them, I was just so mad.
Dude, I still do that. I go back to play Metal Gear Solid and that happens. I'm like, damn it!
I just stopped interrogating them and just started smashing their faces into the ground. I love doing that.
Yeah, either smash their faces into the ground or just like shoot them with the tranquilizer pistol because... I always end up slitting their throats, and I'm like, damn, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to have to face your body in the Sorrow boss fight. Oh, whatever.
That was, that CQC move is one of the most satisfying, like, knockout moves I've ever used in a game.
Like, the entire screen shakes, and your controller vibrates, and you're just like, oh, yeah.
There's just this great noise of their body just impacting the ground, and... you completely knocking them unconscious. That's great.
There's this explosion of dirt under them. Oh, it's fantastic.
Everything about that is perfect.
You know what? I might just, play Metal Gear Solid 3 just to do that over and over again.
See, I would play Metal Gear Solid 3 just to climb up the ladder over and over again.
What a thrill!
There will be no singing on this podcast.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, you just sung.
And
I meant no further singing. John.
Okay.
Okay. Speaking of Metal Gear Solid, I guess I will transition into our last portion of the podcast here. Have either of you seen Captain America 2?
No.
Nope.
The beginning of the movie is the tanker chapter if Captain America was in it.
Really?
I've actually heard this.
It is so awesome. I was like it's just the opening like action sequence is just pirates have taken over this tanker.
Oh my god.
Captain America, you've got to stop them.
Holy crap.
It is just like it is the most awesome it was just I felt like I was playing the tanker chapter in fast motion. It was the coolest thing ever. He
Kojima's gonna sue them.
No.
Kojima would probably brag about it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He'd probably be like, "Yeah, this is totally inspired." It probably was, honestly. Like, there's a lot of Metal Gear Solid in that movie, and it is really, really good. I would recommend it highly, even if you have not seen any of the other Avengers movies or Captain America 1. I would recommend seeing this.
Really? I can just go see it without seeing the first one?
That is exactly what I did, because I am, the worst comic book nerd in the world, and I didn't even see the Avengers movie, so.
I saw the Avengers. It was great.
Yeah, it's definitely a big movie release where someone who doesn't know what's going on can walk in and be completely fine. That is, of course, coming from someone who knows a good bit about Captain America and his history. But everything's still pretty well laid out. The only thing you might be confused about is who some of the characters are, and if you just kind of accept that they're probably from the other movies, you're fine.
Okay. I'll do that then. I'll definitely see it.
Speaking of Kojima being referenced in movies, I saw a tweet from Kojima today showing a screenshot of a Halo jump from the Godzilla trailer.
Oh.
And it looks identical to when the airplane first opened up in Metal Gear Solid 3 with the with the sunset peeking through it, the crack. So he'd probably think, they stole my idea.
Everyone's stealing Kojima's ideas. What's going on?
Which is funny because he has a history of stealing everyone else's ideas.
I think he calls it playing homage.
Paying homage.
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 Hummus.
Omelette du fromage.
Well, I mean, there's homage, and then there's Snatcher, which is Invasion of the Body Snatchers in the world of Blade Runner with Terminators instead of plant people. But still, fantastic game. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Rockin'.
Best game ever.
Rockin' New Year's Eve. I don't know. But I guess we'll go into, that was kind of my transition into games games and movies and TV shows and whatnot you guys should check into. And I'm pretty sure neither of you have played this game, but both of you should play Ico, or Eco, whatever you want to call it.
It's on my hard drive. All I need to do is install it, and I'll play it.
Do it.
It's on my PS3 as well, from, I think it was PlayStation Plus. Like an HD version of it. Yeah.
I figured you had the HD version. Well, I knew Nick did. I was pretty sure you had it, John. I don't know. Did you play Shadow of the Colossus, John?
No, but that is also downloaded on my PS3 from PlayStation Plus.
That is another one you should play as well. I have no recommendation whether you should play one or the other first. It depends more on what you like in a game, and they are related but completely separate. Is kind of how it goes. You could play Shadow of the Colossus and then play Eco and then be completely fine, or you could play Eco and play Shadow of the Colossus and still be completely fine.
Are they in the same universe?
Kind of. It's a very open-ended story.
Okay.
So they are in the same universe probably, but it's like
I never knew that.
It's like how it's like it could be continents away or it could be right next door. You're just not sure. It's a very open-ended story where they hint at a bunch of stuff but never actually tell you anything, which is one of the reasons it's so good. But in the opposite frame of mind of that, the Eco book as well. I do not know the author. It's some Japanese woman, but fantastic. I read it. It is an interpretation of the story of Eco. It dives into a probable backstory of Yorda and kind of where Eco kind of came from. It's just an interpretation, but it's still a really good read. If you like the game, you'll like the book, one of those things. And that is my things you guys should check out.
Well, cool.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything like that?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, I have a bunch of games like that. I don't know. Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption?
I have played a bit of it. I never finished it.
In my opinion, it's better than any of the Grand Theft Auto games or anything that Rockstar's put out. I actually got it for my brother, and he loved the shit out. I got it, and like I was working at the time at Home Depot, and so he would like play it when I was at work, and he finished it before me. I'm like, you finished it already? I'm like, you asshole, come on. Because he knew the ending already, and he was just like had to shut his mouth the entire time and not tell me the ending. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending on here, even though like mostly everyone knows what happens anyway. But I think that game's a goddamn work of art. Everything about it, just like the scenery, the story, the music, the characters, everything is fucking perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I still have that lined up in my queue of things to play, but I was going to try to play Red Dead Revolver first. And didn't
Yeah.
I give you a copy of Red Dead Revolver?
you did. I just have to have a PS2 around
Yeah.
to play it.
So
I have a memory card. I just have to have a PS2.
I have this compulsion from years and years of being friends with John that I have to play them in order. So
My bad.
that is what I have to do, and there's nothing anyone can do about it, unfortunately. Not even me. I had to buy Red Dead Revolver because I had to play that before I played Red Dead Redemption. Even though they're by two completely different teams, and I'm pretty sure they're completely unrelated, I still have to play them first. That is why I've never played Silent Hill 2, because I've never finished Silent Hill 1.
Yeah, it's a curse.
It is.
I used to have that until I played Final Fantasy VI first. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm starting with 6 first instead of 1.
Well,
And then
Final Fantasy's way different. They're all entirely separate stories.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Final
that's true.
Fantasy is completely different games. Like, Silent Hill, like, is more related between games, where Final Fantasy is completely unrelated except for minor cameos and stuff that.
That's kind of how Red Dead is. I mean, Red Dead Redemption has nothing to do with Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, I know, but I still gotta play it first, man. Don't argue with this.
Okay, all right.
It's not logical.
It's not logical.
Doesn't
Not at
have
all.
to be.
John's the kind of guy, when we were younger, we'd be playing like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and like we'd have to do each of the races in order. You know, he'd go through we'd be playing just like 2-player, and he would choose the first track, and then the second track, and then the third track, so on and so forth. It was the most frustrating thing ever.
Like, for dinner, he has to eat the corn first, and then the mashed potatoes, and then the turkey.
I don't know if he's that bad. John, are you that bad?
I used to be.
You used
I grew out of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I grew into it, so...
Well, for gaming, it actually... I can never get that same feeling back of, like, doing something in order. Because I don't have, like, a massive amount of free time now that, full-time jobs and everything. So I'm trying to break out of that so I can enjoy games a little better without having to get through, like, 100% of everything in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 100%. Like, I mean, I've never played any of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, but I own 4, and I played that. You know, I played We Heart Katamari before I played Katamari Damacy. You know, I owned Guitar Hero 2 before I owned Guitar Hero. Yeah, all that stuff. It's just, it's just some of the games, if I can, I like to play them in order just because it makes me happy.
Yeah. I don't think I could have ever, with, like, Mass Effect. If I never played Mass Effect 1, I don't think I could have started with 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, that's a different story. I would say Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 is pretty much one game. You know, like, I don't know how you would be able to start on 2 or 3. I mean, gameplay-wise, I guess I can understand, but, like, I wouldn't want to start, like, now that I've beaten Mass Effect, like, I wouldn't want to start on anything but 1 again, like,
yeah, really.
that is the starting point for the story, there's no there's no question about whether or not, I skip one and just kind of fake it. It's just, no, I have to play through one. I may not do all the side missions just because of the extra time that it took. The first time I played it, I had the time because I was, on painkillers at the time, so I couldn't work. But, now I may skip some of the side missions. I may not do all of the, mining. I may not do all that stuff, but, I'd still would have to start from one just because that's where the story starts,
Every time with Mass Effect, that is like the one thing. I can't just like jump into the one. Like I've replayed it more than any other game series I could think of. Like, and every time I have to start from one, and I always play a different character each time.
Oh, I guess my other you guys should play, and this is directed entirely at Nick. Nick, you should play Fanavision.
Yes, I should.
Since we've named our podcast after it.
Yes,
spoilers.
I should. Spoiler alert.
Whoa.
Yeah, you should at least check it out and say to yourself, "What the fuck is this? Why did he tell me to look this up?
Punch
what
my
is
TV
this?
And move on.
Why is he so interested in that tech demo?
Because the PS2 makes beautiful particles. That's why. They're beautiful. Oh god. I can't stop playing it.
I don't know.
We should all play it.
I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately.
Hearthstone?
Yeah, it's the card game from Blizzard.
That's right.
Digital card game.
I heard about this.
I've spent about $10 on digital cards so far.
Oh no. You microtransaction whore. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he is. If you ever see his Steam account, he has like the upgraded badges for like every game that he owns. So he's done all the buying of the cards and stuff.
You had to talk about that.
I did.
Time to duel.
I did. It is. You need to stop.
I haven't bought any in a long time.
Thank goodness.
I kind of got out of that. It kind of hit me for a bit, and then I'm like, I can just buy the emoticons for like 3 cents each if I really wanted them.
I will say, at the very least, these microtransactions were only like probably $30 over the entirety of you doing it. So at the very least, there's that.
Yes. I'm level 37 on Steam.
Whereas I'm level 12 and have never spent a penny on cards.
I have a Steam account?
I think you do. Aren't I friends with you on Steam?
I think you are. I think I'm not. I don't even know. That's the point I'm trying to make. I rarely open up Steam.
I own 432 games according to Steam. I've probably played 50 of them. It's terrible. Humble bundles have ruined me, and Steam sales have also. Though I've gotten to the point where I'm only buying a game when I want to play it. Unless it's
hey, Nick, you have 8 years of service and 22 games, and you're level 6.
There you go.
I'm so proud of you.
I had to have someone else look it up for me.
Yeah. and we are friends, apparently. So there's that.
I don't know when that happened.
It says you were last online a day ago.
Well, it's probably because it opens up automatically on my computer. I just don't look at it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, do we want to call that a podcast? If we can actually call this a podcast,
It's called a postcast.
I think we can call it a podcast, but we don't know if it's good or not.
It's probably not.
You know what? Just fucking wing it.
I don't think we had dead air, so.
I hope not.
Well, if there's any dead air, I'll just edit it out.
In postcast.
Post. Yeah, in the postcast. We'll have a podcast that is all just me editing sound.
It's just heavy breathing the entire time, like
heavy breathing.
Yeah.
So much heavy breathing that you will wonder if I have upper respiratory problems.
Dave, you should go see a doctor about
I probably should. I guess yeah. This was the Starmine podcast. Once again, I am David.
I'm Nick.
I'm John.
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Woo!